Hi and welcome back to Aasai Rasai. I'm making classic egg sandwiches like we do in Sri Lanka. I have put the eggs in cold tap water and I'm going to boil them for about 10 minutes. Always boil them covered and use high heat. While the eggs are boiling, I'm getting my other ingredients ready. So here I have 4 green chilies. They're the frozen green chilies, so I'm going to chop them while they're frozen. Once they're defrosted, they're a little hard to chop because they soften up too much. So slice them very finely like this and then give it a rough chop. Just go over the chilies with the knife very roughly like this. That way you'll have little flecks of chili in your egg paste and not chunks. I think biting into a chunk of chili in a sandwich just kind of overpowers all the other flavors and it'll take away the taste of the sandwich. So it's better to just go easy. I need to check the eggs really quickly. Let's see how they're doing. You can see the water has come to a rolling boil and this is how it should be boiling for the next few minutes. It can take a little bit longer to hard boil, especially if you've taken them out of the fridge and boiled. Chilled eggs might take about 5 to 7 minutes longer. I think you can keep the heat on and continue to boil for that long, or you could turn off the heat, cover the pan and let it sit in the hot water for an extra few minutes. Stack about 4 slices like this and slice off the crust. And when you're slicing it off, gently but firmly hold the slices. Don't press down too much because that'll squish the bread and then you won't have that fluffy look to your sandwich. Any crust that didn't get cut off, you could just individually just slice them off like that. Now the eggs are ready, so let's take a look. The bubbling has reduced. I'm going to take these eggs out of the pan and then put them in a bowl of cold tap water. This is to cool down the eggs so that I can quickly peel these. I'm trying to speed up the process here because for 2 reasons. The butter would melt if the eggs are not completely cooled. And the other thing is I have a lot of natural light that I'm using in my kitchen to make this video and the sun's going to go down within minutes. So I have to make sure that I get this done and the eggs are cooled really quickly and I'll do everything I can to get to that point. So I kept the eggs for about 10 minutes in the cold water and I'm ready to peel them. Once I have finished peeling the eggs, I'm going to give them a quick rinse in cold water just to make sure that there are no shell fragments remaining on the eggs. These egg sandwiches are highly perishable, so if you're making them for your party, you'll probably have to leave them out for a long time. I would say make them ahead of time and then keep it in the fridge to chill for a few hours before you serve them. Or if you're packing them for your kids' lunch or taking them on a picnic, do the same. Chill it for several hours before packing or taking them out. I just gave the eggs and the bowl a quick wipe because there was some water in them. Now I'm going to mash these up with a fork. You could run these in the food processor, just pulse it a few times. The idea is to get it to look grainy and all the pieces to be somewhat of a uniform size. Pay attention to the egg white because that's kind of rubbery, so you might have to go over several times with the fork to make sure that all the pieces are mashed to the size that you want. I'm done mashing the eggs up. Now let's add the other ingredients. So half of the chilies, that's about how much I want to put right now. Since I'm using unsalted butter, I'm adding a little bit of salt. The reason I'm using unsalted butter is because I want to stay in control of how much salt I take in. If you're using salted butter, you might not need to add extra salt, but that's something that you would have to adjust after you taste. So salt and pepper and green chilies with the eggs right now. I'm also using some yellow mustard. Sri Lankan mustard paste has that speckled look, like the Dijon mustard, but I'm using this yellow mustard because it has the vinegar and it has the flavor, but I'm also going to use a bit of home ground mustard seeds to get that speckled look, if you're particular about the speckled look like I am. But if not, you just don't have to worry about it. If you don't have store-bought mustard paste, you could just use a teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon of vinegar and the ground mustard seeds. And I'm adding about 2 tablespoons or 2¼ tablespoons of butter. The butter will bind the egg and then make it a spreadable consistency. As long as you can spread it easily and it tastes good, that's what you should aim for. I was able to make about 10 to 12 sandwiches with 4 eggs. So if you want to make more, then spread out the filling a little more thinly. But I used about 1 tablespoon per sandwich. And when you're applying it like this, don't take the filling all the way to the edge. Just focus on the middle area and just spread it evenly. As you notice, I haven't buttered the slices of bread. Buttering the bread is not necessary. The butter is already in the egg filling. After cutting a couple sandwiches, just wipe off the knife. There's the egg paste on it, and that will give you a nice clean cut. I have more recipes like these uploaded, a lot of the Sri Lankan classics and favorites. Be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching and stay subscribed to Aasai Rasai.